Okay. Good afternoon, Marcela. Good afternoon, Liliana. How are you?
Good afternoon, teacher. I am fine, thank you.
Okay. Today we are going to talk about the differences between traditional and e-learning classroom. So please, first of all, I want you to tell me what is your experience about these two strategies of education. Okay, Marcela?
Mm, First is the learning style, because in the online education, um, the the learning is independent learning style. The student self-directed in to achieve the goals in the every course. Uh, in the traditional uh, education, we have to go to the classroom in the same place and the same time. Maybe we don't use technology. Usually, the teacher usually teach with the blackboard and explain the class. There is in uh, always there is in a work in with peer uh, in the online education. We have different um, ways to work with peers in the groups with the tutor, and maybe don't share and receive the answer at the same time, but with the forum we have obtained the answer after uh, hours or days and feedback. Mm, Also, the technology, I said that technology imply for the teacher to know about that technologies, to involve that into the process of learning and teaching, because it's important the students know and learn about that, the use of that tools, because that is essential for the interact with the teacher and other students. Mm, Passing, it refers to the way to organize your time, to organize your space to study, because when you are in online education, maybe you have another responsibilities, then you have to organize your time, you prepare your class, your material, and read information and learn. And the traditional education, you have a established time established in hours or morning or afternoon. Then you dedicate or focus in that time for learning. Thank you.
Th- Thank you, Marcela. Liliana, what is your opinion? Liliana, can you hear me? Uh-uh. Are you there? Okay, what is your opinion about the differences between traditional and online classes for you, according to your experience? I cannot hear you. Uh-uh. Your microphone is off. Okay, Marcela. As well as Liliana organized the microphone, please tell me, what do you think that are the most important advantages for you of the traditional classes?
So,
Liliana? Okay. Liliana? Mm-mm. Not yet.
Uh, I did in traditional education. We had the chance to ask the questions when we don't understand the topic in the same moment at the moment. Then we have the feedback in that moment. Maybe with the uh, online education, we have to to write the questions and ask at the teacher after or in the moment through the forum, but the answer is after if also we in the traditional education we can share with other students and they can give some ideas about the topic, also less to rebuild some knowledge and ideas about the topic.
Thank you, Marcela. Liliana? Liliana? Uh-uh. Do you have problems with your microphone, Liliana? No, she can hear me. Okay. Marcela, disadvantages of online education.
I think the mainly disadvantage is no when you have doubts about the topic, you don't have the feed when you don't have the feedback at the time of the tutor of the teacher. You have doubts about the topic. Maybe you can research the topic in internet, but sometimes you need to clarify some ideas about that, about process, a specific process. Then it's important the teacher is she there in the process. Mm, Also disadvantage maybe when you don't have uh, the all uh, resource of the equipment to access
Mm.
internet, to access um, information. You don't have computer or or that kind of elements could affect your process of learning because you have to organize your time, and if you don't have the enough uh, equipment, you can affect in time and affect your process of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Do you consider that is this that this is a technical problem or a human problem when you don't have this kind of a good connection?
Maybe in this nowadays, the internet is essential to access information, to access all information in the world. I think maybe in places where don't exist or don't can find a good signal of internet, and that affect, for example, if the online education maybe is an option to the people who lives fair to the school, or they don't have a good uh, path to travel or means of transport to access to to the to the school and process or traditional education.
Okay, Marcela, thank you. Lilia, what is your answer for for the first question? The differences between traditional and online teaching, according to your experience. There must be a problem with the microphone or with the connection. Okay, we're going to wait patiently to Liliana. But Marcela, do you consider that this kind of education, this online strategy, is really a good way to propose to teenagers, or do you consider that we don't have the discipline and the attitude to try to organize this strategy for this kind of people?
In teenagers, I think for me the best strategy is mix the the two, and online education and traditional education, because first, traditional education led to the teenagers to share with other teenagers, that leads to develop their personality and develop skills of relationships, um, also skills, social skills like to passion, to respect, to accept another, because the online education led the same, but is no is not in real time. Maybe you have to write respect message with your partners, but you sometimes the students avoid to talk with other students, or not share enough time. I think that don't work in the same group at the in a good way, but I didn't mix the two, because the teenagers also have to learn to organize time, to learn to access and classify the information, to the correct use of uh, these kind of tools and organize the time. And then in that sense, I think the best option is the mix two two kinds of education in teenagers.
Okay. In what moments of a class are more important to use traditional, and in what parts or sessions of a class are more important to use the online strategies, and why?
In what part of class?
For example, if you are going to work a warming up with your students, a kind of motivation, do you consider that it is more important to be in a traditional class or in an online class, and why?
Mm, Maybe when motivation we have include some tools of technology because you can share videos or some short information to motivate and participate in the class to the participate motivate the participation of the students in the class. Also, I think that strategies could be in could it be included in the after class because the teenagers access to computer frequent teenagers frequently access to the computer after school. Then maybe share some page, some videos about information about the class in a creative like a video with anime with songs. Uh, let them to learn something and read. Maybe in that time I heard and I know my brother in a traditional school uh, work in I forgot the name like a web page when they read some
Mhm.
information and the teacher check that information and give establish a period of time and said maybe send me that for Sunday. That
Oh,
is part. They are he is in a traditional school, but the teachers are tried to include some technologies uh, into the process of education.
okay, so good. Please, Marcela, ask Liliana uh, the questions you want.
Liliana, what were the more difficult to start to study with online education?
Okay, I think that the difficult to online education for me was to learn to practice in the different programs because there are many um, webs or tools than sometimes I don't have knowledge, so it's necessary to read and practice how can use that tool. So it's in sometimes it's difficult, it's not easy, but it's important to learn, and it's good.
Do you consider this aspect an advantage or a disadvantage?
No, it's an advantage because we are learning new tools, new webs, and it's great. I like, but it's difficult to try to manejar, dominar,
Manage.
eh, manage the tool, but is interesting. Is an advantage for us.
Do you consider that online education is a really good tool in order to create something called critical thinking?
Um, I can listen very well the question, teacher.
Do you consider that online education it is a good way to organize something called critical thinking?
Yes, I think that is a good option to learn because the the virtual education have many tools and advantage to learn, and we can distribute the time and organize the different activities, lectures, uh, and I consider that is a grand option for the education.
What is autonomy for you when you are talking about traditional education and when you are talking about online education? What is autonomy for you?
What is that, teacher?
Autonomy.
Okay, the autonomy. Um, autonomy. Um, I think that virtual education is very autonomy because depend of our effort to look for the information, to read, to ask. Sometimes when we don't understand something, it's important to organize the time to develop the different activities in the in the date that is necessary. And in traditional education, it's important the autonomy, but I think that depend of the schedule or time because it's necessary to go to the class and out the time you only do the homeworks or read the activity, but it's I think that is more autonomy the virtual education.
Okay, Liliana, thank you. Marcela, what do you rather? What would you rather? What do you prefer? Task-based strategy or project-based strategy when you're talking about online education? Online education.
I think I'd rather uh, task-based strategy because maybe that is a more specific. Uh, then when you start, I think that is not the best, but is I like that because you organize your group in and work in the team and choose a role and and prepare and do the task uh, with a strategy, with a specific strategy. I think that is in the to start is better. Maybe the project for me is longer than task, but that is useful too.
Okay, Marcela, thank you. Liliana, what is best, individual or collaborative work, and why?
Mm, I think that mm, I think that both, but the collaborative activity or work is very important because we can interact and um, answer questions or doubts that that we have in the develop of the different activities. Uh, we can uh, listen different concepts or different points of view that the partners have, and we can uh, do a better work or activity.
Okay, Liliana. We are going to talk about co-responsibility, another characteristic of this topic.
Okay.
Do you think that we have the actual responsibility in order to support our sons or our brothers or our family or relatives in order to try to get an excellent education, or we are only leaving this task to the schools? What do you think about, Marcela?
Microphone. Yeah. Okay. Um, I think uh, we have we are an important part of the process of education. We have maybe we don't have the knowledge, the all the knowledge of the subjects, but we can support our relatives, our brothers, our sons or daughter, but then it's important to support that part because the school and the process of education is not only uh, the process of learning topics or information. That is a process include you said about critical think, give your ideas, respect other people, uh, motivate to the relatives to continue with their education. Uh, give example, give dar ejemplo, give an example. I don't know. With your attitudes, give the best, and maybe in the process of learning, the students can fail, but a model, yes, can fail, then we have to support to give the life is like that. You can fail, but you can to uh, carry on and learn and give uh, the best of you
Mhm.
and learn. I think that teacher.
Okay, thank you. Liliana, what is your opinion?
My opinion is not clear the question, teacher. Could you repeat?
Corresponsibility. What is our role in the education of our family members?
Corresponsibility. Okay. I think that is important that um, practice on and has a project or model of the education because the interaction and the good formation is very special and important for the members of the family, and is a a great point for the principal formation for the brothers or sons or the for the family, and uh, is important to keep in mind that is uh, it must be the principal formation for the future.
Okay, Liliana, thank you. What about community? What is the most important priorities in education when we are talking about school and community? What do you think about, Liliana?
The school in community is like the interaction in uh, between
Between
the
between the children, school, and community. In this interrelation, what could be our responsibility, our role?
uh, I think that is very important to keep the 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 principal tools to have a good formation or education because there are a common interaction between people, community, and school, and it's very important the good interaction and the principal formation in valores. I don't know,
Values? Mhm.
values, uh, and principios,
Principles and values. Okay. Mhm.
principles and values. Um, mm, and it's important to know what is the environment to to keep in mind if it's good or regular or bad, and try to do the activities, the interactions, the tools that improve the education.
Okay, Liliana, thank you. Marcela, what is your opinion about? Microphone, please. No, it doesn't work. Okay, okay.
Yes, I
Yes.
think
Uh-huh.
this is a interaction between teachers, students, and school and community is important because, uh, like teacher, we are in a process of education into a specific reality. Maybe the importance of the knowledge is to apply into the environment. For that reason, it's important to know about that environment. Liliana said and talked about that, to know that it's a good, bad, or regular, and to define and look for with the students strategies to give something and improve the situation. Maybe are that are ideas, because I think the students and school and teachers are part of the community. We are not isolate of the world. We are part of the world. Then it's important to know the reality. Also, the in addition, the community have to support the school, support the students with giving the the resource, support, and I give other aspects of formation, maybe with practices, with a correct interaction with some people of the community. I think that is important because the school, the students, the school has influence in the community, and the community influence in the school. That is a constant interaction, and because our elements are important in the process of education.
So good, Marcela. Thank you. Now we are going to talk about another feature of this topic, that is problem solving. We have many problems in our society nowadays. Many different problems. But one of the hardest difficulties at school is to try to contextualize those problems in order to looking for solutions. So what do you think about this topic, Marcela? What is the best way to focus on these kind of situations in order to harden our students' criterion?
Mm, we talk about community, and that is important. Some troubles affect is part of society and affect a school as part of society. For example, I think the drugs affect the teenagers and the children. Mm, and that is a problem of society, because they are people who spend drugs near to the school, in the neighbors, and the family has a few control of that situation or cannot face that situation, and that affect the process in the learning of the students, because many of the students that uh, involved into the drugs left the school, and they don't end the process of learning, and affect, maybe some students affect the other influenced other students, and that is bad. Other problem or situation is maybe the bullying. That is a common nowadays, is common, that that situation. But in that part, I think the family have to give elements to the student, to the children, to face that situation. Maybe that in some places that is hard to face for the children, for the teenagers, and they cannot the tools to to face that situation. But I think it's important to give elements to recognize his uh, self self self-esteem, because that is an important. Also, the the school, like teachers and directives, have to give elements to the students to feel support, and give uh, psychology support, on not just for the victim, uh, also to the other students, because when you affect or hurt other people, is because you are not good. In that sense, I think it's important to give support uh, to the victim and the person who hurts to the student. Also, other problems are the nutritional problems, like anxiety, anorexia. That is a problem of self-esteem. Then I think, and said again, into the family, the school could it be some elements to parents to give and teach and give a model of self estimate, to not affect his self image, and to face that kind of troubles.
Thank you, Marcela. Liliana, what is your opinion?
Okay, teacher. I think that in some cases there are problem for desertion. So I think that is maybe because there are lack of awareness for the for children to study and be a better person in the future. And in some cases I think that there are psychological uh, problems, and it's important to develop new strategies for the children go to a school and evitar evite the desertion. Another point I think that is the wait the violence or drugs, that is a problem in the into the school that present actually, and is important to to talk with the students and prevent all aspects about that, and try to look for solutions, or take um, um, options that is not a good way, that topic. um, um, what more? Another, maybe, but Marcela say that um, bullying bullying is um, a interesting topic to try, because there are many problems about that. um, Another, um, discussion. Okay, sexuality. Uh, yes, because actually there are mm, um, there are different, okay, different inclinations, and for uh, to dance to music, the influence of the music, like reggaeton, or the letters of different songs that uh, there are not a good uh, examples, or message. There are not a good message for the formation, for the children. Is not good that the children listen that type of music, or I think that the the schools or the teacher should be to rescatar, to
Rescue.
rescue the the cultural activities, or the folkloric I don't know, dances, or musics, or 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 there do another activities, but actually the modern music is not good for the educations to the children, or the teenagers.
Okay, thank you. Now, please, Liliana and Marcela, you are going to question Sully in order to know her opinions about co-responsibility, problem solving, and autonomy, task-based or project-based strategies, etc. So please start.
Uh,
Suli, what do you think is the importance of the support which give with the family gift to the process of education?
Okay, do you mean what is the most important things that parents have to do in education of the kids?
Yes, do you think that is important in the process? The parents of the family give the support the family give to the education, the process of education.
Yes, I think that is important because the parents uh, have the responsibility to do it, and the children needs the support of their parents because the children are no adults and they need to be represented for their families and their parents because they are learning uh, to live, and the teachers have to talk with the parents about the problems that the children has. So that is really important, I think.
okay, Suli. Another topic was about the autonomy, and the question is, what is autonomy is important? Is more important in virtual or in traditional education?
I think that autonomy is more important in virtual education because, for example, we are studying a virtual career. So if you don't have autonomy, you don't going to pass any any topics or any how do you say materias, mm, get any goal. Yes, so you have to be really autonomy. Uh, but in the real in personal class, traditional class, I think that is important too, but it's more important in virtual class.
Eh, okay, so into the virtual education and traditional education, what do you think is more important, individual or collaborative work?
Well, it depends on in the, on the words that we have to develop. For example, if the word is collaborative, you have to you're going to need the help of your partner. If the word is individually, obviously you have to do it only you. But sometimes, for example, I have some partners that in some cases they don't understand a, activity that an activity that the teachers uh, give to us give to us. So we talk between us and ask what we have to do. So I think that collaborative is really important.
Okay, Suli. Another question is what do you consider that are the advantage and disadvantage of the virtual education?
Okay, the advantage is that you can do your homework when when do you want. You are your owner of the time. And so you decide when you want to do the homeworks or the activities. It's your time. You can spend your time um, whatever you want or however you want. So, disadvantages of the virtual education is that in some case you need the help of some teachers to explain you some words that in in those cases you don't understand, so you need the personal assistant. And I think that, for example, we are studying English. I think that is really important uh, to take personal classes, or I don't know how to say presenciales. I think that is more important uh, because you can resolve your doubt in immediately.
Okay, Sully. For teenagers, which do you think is the best option? Virtual or traditional education, and why for teenagers?
I think that for teenagers is better the um, personal education because mm, some of them don't doesn't have the responsibility of or the autonomy to do their activities, their homeworks. So sometimes they need that the teacher uh, 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 explain or invited invited them to study, uh, to learn. And I think that the adult has more responsibility than the teenagers.
Liliana?
Okay, Suli, another question. What do you consider that are the problems that we have to solving actually in the education?
Mm, the first problem that we have is the respect. I think that teenagers and children have to respect more the teachers, um, and have to put more attention uh, in the what the teacher are saying in in the moment. They have to put more attention and be more responsible in their class. For example, another problem that we have is the parents of the children. Sometimes I am talking like a teacher. Sometimes the parents don't say nothing about the behavior of the children, the behavior that the children has in the school. Sometimes the kids uh, do bad things in the school and don't respect the teacher and they don't say anything. So I think that those are the problems that exist in the education.
Julie, what do you think uh, is the relationship between school and community?
The relation between school and community, I think that this relation has to be more close because the parents only wants uh, to leave their children in the school, um, and then uh, they go. Uh, yes, must be closer because um, sometimes we need to say something to the parents about the behavior of the children, that they don't have enough time. Uh, they they don't care what their sons do in the school because in the school you are the teacher and you have to take the responsibility in whatever the children does. um I think that the parents have to pay attention and have to pay more attention to their children's um, than their words because these society uh, are are getting uh, are getting worse every day.
Okay, Sully. Another question is what do you consider that they are the principal motivations or factors for you for study in a virtual education, or you prefer a traditional education?
In this part of my life, I prefer virtual education because I can spend my time how I want. Uh, I have autonomy to do my activities, my homeworks, and I don't need somebody that tell me what I have to do because I am spending my time and my money here. So if I lose a semester, it's going to hurt me because I am paying this semester. So I think that the virtual is better for me.
Don't you feel, Sully? Don't you feel sometimes that you are alone and isolated when you are doing this kind of education? Don't you feel that sometimes You feel a kind of isolation.
Cancellation, teacher?
Isolation, to feel far from people.
Isolation.
Hmm.
I don't know what is the meaning of isolation. Okay. Mm, in fact, I was today at the university, at the UNAD University, in Puerto Colombia, and I was talking with one of the teacher that uh, one of the teacher of um, English teacher that was there. He was a clean some dude that I had, and he told me, Sully, we need to meet frequently. You have to come here to know your partners, to talk with them about the the dude that you have about the university, and it's good that you uh, sometimes come here and spend time with us. Uh, so uh, I think I feel a little isolated, but in this moment I am not, because it was really good to go to be at the university today. Was really good experiences.
Uh-huh, that's the point. The point is that you can be in a virtual course, but the most important thing for all of us as human beings and as teachers working in a human science is to be close to our partners, to our teachers, to the people with the one we are working. And it is very important not to use only the virtual channel, but trying to mix the virtual and the personal situation of communication. That's the point. So traditional education is very important for me, but I am a product of it. I love to have the opportunity to be in this kind of virtual education, but I think that it is very important that we get in touch with the people we are working with. So that made us feel not only stimulated and motivated, but living and in touch with our communities. Okay, thank you. Mm, do you think, according to your personal experience, that education in Colombia has been a kind of failure, fracaso, failure? Or do you consider that it is a part of the changing of times? What do you think, Marcela?
Maybe we are in a process of change, mm, like history of the education start with the with the teacher like has all reason and all information, but in this time I think uh, uh, the education is a excuse me, yes, yes, uh, uh, give the teachers and the students to the chance to participate in the process of learning. I think in this moment, um, uh, for example, with the evaluation, the thing about that has changed because now the teachers uh, led to work peer or with peers are in group and teamwork. that is important. Is not only the grades and your knowledge about a specific topic, if the education involved in other aspects and cultural and develop in other skills. Maybe the file in the process of the education is the first. The teachers doesn't have a big opportunities to access other process of education, and improve all into the skills of technology. I think that is a value. Other is the time to teach, to share many of the activities which let the correct process imply more time. It's not only the topics, amount of topics, uh, is the quality of process of education that is the more important. Then we are in the process of change, but we have to improve many things, because like we have to uh, we have talk in this speaking encounter. The education involves community, involves teachers, students, and family. Then it's a process has to change all of part of the process of education.
Thank you, Marcela. Mm, Sully, what is your opinion about it?
Can you repeat the question, teacher?
Uh-huh. Of course. Do you consider that education at this time has been a failure, or do you consider that it's just a kind of a consequence of the changing times?
Mm, I don't know exactly. I don't feel uh, right. I don't feel uh, really happy with the education, but I think that that is good. I'm going to get better with the time. Uh, we need to to fire for our education because here in Colombia is really have really hard to have um how do you say educación de calidad,
Qualified education?
qualified education, uh, because there are so much people uh, that don't spend that doesn't spend the money in the education. For example, the government don't spend enough money in education. So I think that it's going to get better with the time.
Okay, Sully, thank you. Liliana,
Teacher. In my opinion, I think that the education in Colombia has been evolving uh, according to the new tendencies. There are failures, but I think that there are different types of schools, because we have private and public
Mm-hmm.
public schools. In the different schools there are different models to learning. Um, in the public schools, maybe they depend of the government, that many uh, um, the government don't have don't provide the money or the structures for the colleagues, for improve the education. But I consider that little to little the education has been evolving.
Okay, Liliana, thank you. Mm, I agree with all of you. I think that education is getting better and better each and every time, because if you can see all of the protests and all of the marches of the university students, you can see the way they face situations. They are always doing things right. Only some people that doesn't belong to this kind of social manifestations are trying to deteriorate all of the situation. But students are always trying to express their own ideas and to try to defend all of your point of views. So for me, education has been evolving so much. Mm, Suddenly, the problem is that we have many distractors. We, as teachers in the schools, we have to fight against television, um, movies, models, family patterns, social trends, and this kind of things. So we have a very hard and difficult task in order to try to give our best for students. And I think that it is very important to try to um, not only study and try to practice all that the university are trying to teach us, but it is very important to try to contextualize all of that information to the zones, to the areas where we live, because all of the students are not the same. Many students are very intelligent, but they don't have the opportunity to follow, for example, a university career. And there are some students that are very comfortable, that son muy cómodos. They are very facilist, easy going, and they have the opportunity because they have money. So I think that these two trends are very contradictory, and we need to try to organize our ideas in order to be project proposers, proponer proyectos, in order for students to try to get better each and every day. So I agree with you. I think that the education in Colombia is not as bad as means mass media is trying to show us. It is we have been working in things that are very important that we mentioned before: problem solving, autonomy. A teacher is not the owner of the knowledge. Sometimes it is very interesting that some of the students uh, propose interesting things and very innovative projects and things. So I think that education is getting better, is improving. Okay, so we have our last part. If we have the opportunity to organize a new curriculum, a new study plan, what topics will you involve? Will you include in that study plan, Marcela?
Student, wait. Ah, yes. uh, about which subject or in general
Whatever you want.
subject, whatever.
Uh-huh.
A plan, study plan. I think it's important to include in now nowadays currently it's important to include the develop of skills. I think in the teaching of English is important. Like a part of learning is the motivation, yes, but it's important to the students develop skills to face the fears in front of the of the people, to the fear to the file or make a mistake made a mistake when they are speaking in English, because because yes, oral expression skills, because the oral expression skills involve self confidence, self autoesteem, because they have to face or be in front of the other students. Also, with when that implies the other students respect to the partner and understand we have a different process of of learning. Yes, respect. Then I think the in English that that is so important, because some students are good with writing or listening, by they have they are afraid of face some other fears, and also let's the work the teamwork with the other students. That I think it's important to include that kind of things in the not just in the English, in another in another subject, because that is a skill of or abilities of the life.
Okay, thank you, Marcela. Liliana, what subject, what topic will you include?
Uh, okay, teacher. I think that it's important to include the the technology. I think that actually the students must to learn the different tools in technology. Also, is an attractive for them, and it's important to have a good formation in that tools about the the technology management. Um, because there are traditional or normal things that there are disappear. So actually, if you don't manage or you don't know about the technology tools, you are out, and it's important to include that different tools. Only one or another teacher?
No, thank you. Only one.
Okay, teacher.
Thank you. Sully, what about you?
Well, teacher, I don't include any subject, but I would like that eh, the school prepare their teacher for the future. For example, in the technology and in the English, the teacher of math, for example, uh, include English language in their subject, and technology. Teachers professional formation, yes. So I think that a school have to prepare the teacher to uh, to to speak at least another language like English, because the English, I think that that is the future language, and everybody have to learn English. So, and I think that they have to learn how to manage the technology.
Okay, Sully, thank you. Today we are not going to give our conclusion. Today we are going to only ask a question that produces us some kind of preoccupation, some kind of worriness. Okay, so you are only going to ask a question in order to finish the session. Okay, Liliana, what is the question?
The question about the preoccupation about the education teacher.
Uh-huh, yes, in order to finish the session.
Um, Maybe a preoccupation. Do you think that the public education will disappear in the future?
For example, thank you. What about Marcela?
Mm, the teachers, do the teachers have enough time to do research or investigations about process of education?
So great, thank you. Sully?
Can the education uh, transform in a business in the future?
Thank you. Very good questions. So, see you tomorrow. Don't disconnect because I want to talk to you just for 2 minutes, please. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.